And this is the podcast.
Alright. This is number 11.
Yeah.
We brought Yifan back from the dead.
Yeah, I'm back from the dead.
You're now. After Tanner died, you've been on the podcast as much times as Tanner. Last time we called him.
Wait, just kidding. This one does have an egg yolk.
Ooh.
Maybe all of them have egg yolks. I told Larry that only one of them had egg yolks. But it
Okay.
turns out more of them have egg yolks.
Oh, well, I'll go eat mine in a bit, I guess.
Let that be a moral. You'll always find egg yolks in places you weren't expecting.
Amazing
Top notch
advice.
wisdom. Wait, so why do you have mooncakes?
Because it was 中秋节.
Which is?
Yeah, what's 中秋节?
Zhongqiujie is a Mid-Autumn festival. It's mid-autumn and people celebrate. And then in China and I guess in Hong Kong they have like fireworks and like it's a huge event. And there's mooncakes and different food. It's like a time where you just like go hang out with your family. And yeah.
Nice, because in Vietnam, because my parents don't really celebrate it.
Okay.
So I learned about it in Vietnamese. I'm like, that's why they have mooncakes during this time of the year.
Oh.
Yeah.
So like, what did Chinese? Because Vietnamese people, they like, it's the equivalent of like their Halloween, where the kids get to run around and get candy and stuff, and the parents are just like, check out those fireworks. So what do the Chinese people do?
Well, there's no candy.
Yeah, there's no candy, of course, but
There's always fireworks.
it's fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, there's always firecrackers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and there's always food.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay. Interesting.
And there's also alcoholism.
Oh wait,
Rampant.
you're right. There's a lot of people
alcoholism.
who drink during this time.
Is
Like
there,
it's like a lot of single people, like they have no friend or they have no wife and like, no kids. So what are they gonna do? They're gonna go drink with their friends.
Yeah, like go drinking with your friends, drink till your like liver's done, and then like wait till New Year, drink till your liver's, and then like birthday drink, and then
Yeah.
yeah.
sounds like a fun festival. You do anything here?
Do I do anything here?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm eating that mooncake.
Anything else?
I burned myself.
You burned yourself.
Yeah.
What'd you
You
do?
can see it's really dark hair, and it's like getting wrinkly now. My hand is like that too.
What'd you do?
So for Mid-Autumn Festival, so it was just this past Monday, and I made a steak. I made 4 steaks, two for people across the street, and one for Yifan, and one for me. But I actually dropped the steak too hard into the boiling butter that was in my pan, and it splashed all over my arm. So now I'm burnt. But it tasted good, so
So it was worth it.
it was worth it.
Nice. So as we were setting up, Yifan was looking for his dongle.
Yeah, you know how like iPhones don't have audio jacks, so I was looking for my Lightning 3.5mm. I couldn't find it. Yeah.
How is it using a dongle for your phone? Because like we use Android.
And
Yeah.
we have audio jacks.
We have audio jacks like civilized people.
Yeah.
So how is it?
I don't know. I don't actually use. I have Bluetooth
Okay.
earbuds that I usually use, but those make me look like a tool. you know like those stupid things with the ring around your
so
neck.
You
Yeah.
use that one.
Yeah.
So you walk around, you're just listening to music, but everyone else is like, this prick.
You know, the
Is that
good
what
thing
you
is
think?
I usually wear it with a jacket, so
Oh,
you can't
okay, so
see
it's
the
covered
ring.
up?
Yeah, you gotta hide the fact that you're a poser.
You gotta hide
Yeah,
the
yeah.
shame.
Yeah.
Okay. So Larry, what's new with you?
Nothing much. Start reading a book. It's such a good book. It's called Battle Royale by Koshun Takami. It's translated by Yuji Onoki. So it's a Japanese book, and it's translated. And then so it's like a better Hunger Games. It's a Hunger Games without the romance. And so it's a bunch of kids. They're in this corrupt government, and they were dropped into this island, basically, and they were supposed to kill each other. It's a bunch of middle school kids. They thought they were going to go on a study trip. They did not go to a study trip. Yeah.
So it's like the Magic School Bus meets Hunger Games.
Yeah. But I think it's really good because it really touches on, or it really shows cases how different people act in this very pressurized situation where, so if no one dies within 24 hours, they have collars that explode. Okay, so they have to kill each other or everyone dies. And some people are like trying to escape. Some people are playing the game and killing each other, they don't mind killing all their classmates. Like there's some people who just go crazy. They just really want to survive, so they shoot each other, or like they do whatever they can to live, and like they're super suspicious of each other. And there's like groups of people who they met each other and they're trying to like figure out how to escape together. So it really there's 42 characters. There's 42 students on this island, and they each kind of have their own story, or like they kind of group up together. So like each group has like their own little story, and you can see how the author tries to portray what humans will do in such a pressurized situation, and it's kind of it's like a little bit based off like Lord of the Flies, where there's kids on an island they're trying to survive. Yeah.
Okay. Wait, did you played all the Fallout games, right?
Yeah.
3.
Well, I've played some of the Fallout
Three
games.
to-
I played 3 in New Vegas.
Because there was a vault like this. I don't know if you remember.
Oh yeah. There's a vault in is it in 3?
It's
I think
either 3 or New Vegas. But
Yeah. So I think it's in New Vegas. There's like 4 corpses outside.
You know
Oh.
about the Fallout, right?
Yeah.
Just the general story.
I know the general
Yeah,
story.
except-
I haven't played it.
Since it's Fallout, so they got to make it like slightly. So this book is just mostly like killing people, right? But like in
Yeah.
Fallout, they got to make it like sort of messed up in a funny way. It's like at the end, it's like, oh, they didn't have to kill each other. It was just a prank, and then they all kill themselves.
So it's similar. So
Why?
it's just got me thinking. This one is like, so in Fallout, like they're all preparing for like the nuclear like destruction, so they're in these vaults.
Yeah.
So this vault was like everyone goes in, they lock the vault, you can't get out.
Okay.
And so like you have one person that's like in charge of it called the overseer.
Yeah.
So the first one knew that like there's like a ritual that has to happen where you have to sacrifice one person a year
Why?
in order to keep the vault, like otherwise the threat is everyone dies.
Why?
So it was that kind of experiment of like you sacrifice one person to save everyone.
Oh.
And so like it goes on for like 18 years. So like as you the person, everyone's in the vault dead, and it's been open, so someone made it out.
Mhm.
So you're just like going through all the pieces, and basically it was like for 18 years, what they did was like they made because like they thought the overseer, the first person in charge, like betrayed them. So they were like they sacrificed him, and then they made it so like everyone elects like the worst person, and then that person gets sacrificed. And then like it stratifies, so it's like the rich people or like the higher position people, like they all rig it so that like they choose who dies. And then like I guess like the 18th or 19th year, like there's a huge fighting that happens, and then like 4 people are left, and they choose not to sacrifice anyone. And then, like the twisted thing is like the vault is like, congratulations, you are the shining beacon of humanity.
Oh no!
You didn't have to sacrifice anyone, and like I think there were 5 guys.
There were 4.
There were 5 because 4 corpses.
Right.
One guy walks out.
I thought that guy killed himself.
Or no, there's
Because so
Or
in the
it's
recording,
not sure yet.
you hear 3 gunshots,
yeah.
and that's him killing the other 3 people.
So so they're like they get out. 3 of them are like have like PTSD from like everyone dying, and they were like it was pointless because like if you just said no, everyone would live. So 3 of them were like, we just have to kill you. Like they don't want to show this bad part of humanity.
You can also sacrifice yourself.
Yeah.
You can act in the game.
Yeah.
You can activate the sacrifice system. It's pretty funny.
Yeah, because what happens is you accept the sacrifice, and then just a bunch of robots come out with like machine guns, and they just gun you down.
Oh.
So like, if you break through, or like if you can kill all the robots, then the automated system goes off and saying you've done it.
Oh, okay.
So yeah.
I think.
So that got me thinking about that.
Yeah.
So.
I think what's different about like games or like movies, even compared to like books, is that I think in the book, a lot of it is based off of what you understand. Like obviously like what the author understands about people is what he's writing, right? But what you perceive of that is how people understand what they perceive of people too, and what the author is writing. Do they really understand these emotions? Can they feel the same emotions? Whereas in a game, it's, even though like it's much easier to see what the author or what the writer is trying to like say, or how they wanted you to see it is obviously very obvious. It's on the screen, right? But in a book, it's all in your head, and so you yourself has to understand and perceive. But at the same time, I feel like it's a deeper. You can get a deeper understanding with these words and how the author like conveys emotion.
I think it's also like it's more intimate because you're reading it, so you're going at that pace. But like in the game, where it's like you could walk through stuff and you're like, I didn't notice these details, so you miss stuff. But it's like on the book, it's like everything's there.
Yeah.
It is the worst adaptation. Fortnite Battle Royale.
No. But in Fortnite, you don't want, like, it's like everyone doesn't mind killing each other.
Have you seen like the Brazilian cover of that book? It's like trash. It's like
Is it
see the book that inspired the game Fortnite Battle Royale.
No. That is, I do not want 10-year-olds reading this book. It's like so brutal. Like the descriptions of people dying.
So it's supposed to be like the worst parts of humanity, right?
How
far a person can go.
Yeah, how the situation can bring, like, because it's like even worse because they're middle schoolers.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah.
Okay. Nice. Not so nice, but
Speaking of killing people,
yes.
you were at a job that does the opposite of killing people.
Great transition. So I just started working at Medtronic. It's like a pacemaker and like insulin pump and like a bunch of different things that help alleviate pain. So yes, the exact opposite. So I just started working there. So this week was my introduction week. So I just went through like all the rules, all the guidelines and stuff. And then like
syllabus day.
Yeah, pretty much. It's like syllabus day for the first 2 days. And then the third day is like they put me on a computer and I just have to go through all like the PowerPoints and everything and then do like the quizzes after. It's kind of like the quizzes you have to do before you
actually syllabus day.
Yeah, literally. And it's like basic stuff like, you know, if you're in a like, you know, a room that you can't, like, you know, a clean room, you don't want to bring dust in, so it's like, how do you clean up, or like, you know, how do you prepare yourself? It's like you put everything on in the order it says in the book, and then it was like, congratulations. But like there was one that was like security training, like basically because the company is like very successful and it's big, so they're like, don't leak company documents.
Yes.
Basically all that is like, don't, you know, accept those weird emails you get that are like, get this Christmas coupon now, just give us all your social security and stuff, those kind of emails. So I got 100% on that test, and I was like, okay, that was super easy. So I hit the submit button, and the submit button doesn't work. So all the other buttons work, and I'm like, this is the last thing I have to do. So all the other tests, like, once you hit submit, then you can close. So I was like, I'll just close out of it. But I was like, this is sketch, so I screenshotted it. And then I closed out, and I told the person training me, and they were like, I guess you gotta do it again. So I like, okay, I know everything, I know all the answers, so I was just like, next. But it was like, they set up the PowerPoint in a way that like it's interactive, so you have to be paying attention. So it's like, here's these 5 things that are important. Click all 5 of them. And then it's like, it loads the wheel, and it click, and it loads all the information, and there's videos and stuff, so I'm like, let me out. And then the second time, I'm like, yeah, see, this isn't working. So my trainer was like, yeah, just send me a screenshot. I was like, could have done that the first time.
I did that.
Yeah, I have it right here. So that was fun. But yeah, I like the company. It's like one of those, like, I was talking to Yifan earlier, but like, it's one of those companies where like they you know, it's a corporation, so it's supposed to make money, but like they're not, so from what I've seen, they're not shady about it.
Okay.
So like, it's pacemakers and stuff, so the head people who, like, the head leadership that changed the company to where it is now, their intention was to make pacemakers to help people. So like, the foundings was good, and like, from what I've seen, all like the high ups are like, they want to help people. So I'm like excited to work for them, because I was like, you know, maybe the head ups are just like let's make pacemakers so they just keep having to buy her stuff or they die. But like they keep pushing they're like, this works for 15 years, and then the engineers are like, okay, we got that out, now let's make one that makes like 20 years. So they keep pushing it, like they're making them smaller, stronger and stuff. So like I'm excited because there's companies that are just like, how do we make this phone last even less so we can sell this new iPhone?
Welcome to Stark Industries. It'll be a real blast.
Yeah, we talked about the opposite of this would be like Stark Industries from Iron Man, where it's like the whole point is you want to make money off war by making weapons of war.
You're right.
Hey, Yuda bomb.
So yeah, that's pretty much what I've been up to.
Okay.
Yeah, we're recording this like an hour and a half later than normal because Larry was.
I stayed up really late. I stayed up till 5 last night because I was talking to a friend about moral relativism. Is there an absolute good? Right, and that's what we spent talking about for a majority of that time. And the other half of that, another bit of time, we talked about this article and about Crazy Rich Asians and Christian values. And did this article really? And we talked about what is identity and why do people feel like it's so important to them, especially like if you're like gay, if you're or LGBTQ plus whatever. So many.
Plus 37.
If you're like Asian American, right? Why is that identity so important to you? And for the first topic, moral. Is there a moral good? Is there absolute good? I feel like there has to be, because without absolute good, everything is relative. And no one really knows if what you're doing good is good, right? Even so, the government it sets up a kind of absolute good, right, for you to follow. Like, don't kill people, don't steal, whatever. And then the society around you also sets up a absolute good around you. But that absolute good is formed by relative goods. It's not really absolute. It is still relative because different societies have different goods, right? We kind of looked at it like a bunch of points, right? A bunch of points in a space, and you have infinite points in a space. If everything was relative, or usually you'll have a grid, right, telling you where is 0, where is 1, right? That's how you graph things, right? And then so that would be absolute. But without that absolute, without that grid, so you just have a bunch of points, and there's people who say that, okay, for me this is 0, but for someone else 0 is somewhere else, right? And so there's no absolute good, and in that way a society will, even though people collectively make a society, I think it would be harder to create a better one. So we realize that society evolves, right, and their morals evolve based on what people think is good. So right now, with the easy example to give is the LGBTQ community, where people are now saying that it's okay to have transgenders, it's okay to be gay and lesbian, where before it's like it was very not okay, right?
Yeah.
You can't like
society frowned upon it.
Yeah, exactly. But now, like, because enough people thought that it's okay, thinks it's okay now. There's like a paradigm shift where the society now changed, and then the society's thoughts of what is good changed also, right? So society evolves in this way. I'm not going to say whether it's good or bad, but I feel like there should be an absolute good. I'm a Christian, so I believe that God creates a sense of morality in all of us, and that's where it comes from. And I think you can see that based on history. where like there's so many Christian values in what we value today, right? A lot of Christian values is what we think is good, and you always hear these stories of like their families are sending like their kids to church not because they're Christian, but because they want their kids to learn good values, good moral values, and so before like in the Romans, you have like the Colosseum, and like you have like people killing each other, and like that was like more okay. Like, but as time went on, you can see that like, wait, that's not okay. And there's like just Christian values that are put in a lot of things over history. Yeah.
So it's interesting because like Yifan's not religious.
Yeah, I was thinking
or
that movie, you know,
which one?
the one
Like-
about the guy called Rorschach,
What,
where he's like
what is it called?
good. It's like The Watchmen. Is it?
Oh.
Or The Watchmen or whatever. Anyways, he's like, I'm absolute good, and then the other guy's like, I'm relatively good, and then the absolute good guy dies, and then the relatively good guy kills himself. So
I was gonna say this is kind of because like Yifan's not religious and I'm like religious but not like too. So we have like different. So what do you think about absolute good besides Watchmen?
well, based on Watchmen, you know, it's good to be good.
Yeah.
But the question is, what is good?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah. Do you? Because it's something that's interesting to look at is that like you don't have because your parents are religious, but did you go to church as a kid?
Yeah.
So like you know it, but like
Yeah.
you're not practicing, right?
Yeah.
So do you have like any kind of metrics for like what is absolutely good?
I don't know. I have metrics for absolutely bad, so I guess
Oh, that
I guess
Okay.
I guess there has to be absolute good.
yeah. Because like similar, I'm like there should be an absolute good and evil because it's like two ends of the extreme. So
But it's sort of like if you were locked in a room
Yeah.
with Hitler and a loaded gun, would you kill him? And the
Yeah.
answer is like, yes, I would. But it's like killing people's bad.
Yeah.
But if you don't kill him, he'll kill people.
yeah.
So let's go back to my favorite moral question: would you kill Hitler as a baby?
Oh, like if he was a baby.
If
Yeah.
you went back in time.
Yeah, it was like 19, like 20 or whatever, and he's like a 10-year-old kid. Would you kill him?
This is
Or
this
my math
another.
is wrong. It's like a 30-year-old guy.
But this is something interesting too that I talked to Yifan about. That like, because my parents, like they met here because of the Vietnam War, and so if something bad, I don't know if I'm good, but something good happened. Where like, because they would, because of where they were located before, they would not have met. So in theory, I wouldn't be alive without the war. So it's kind of like, what are the the long-term repercussions of something bad? So that's one of those. I'm like, I could have killed if I went back in time, killed Ho Chi Minh. Maybe I wouldn't be here.
You'd be Titus
Yeah, I'd be Titus.
from Final Fantasy.
Final Fantasy. But yeah, that's actually hard because it's like, because you think about it, you're like the obvious answer is like because he's evil and like you're gonna save millions of lives, but like, an evil or something, some pressure is needed for like development of society, like technology, culturally. So you're like, if there's no Hitler, like all the technology developed during World War II, lots of people died, but like that technology improved the lives of more people. So I don't know.
I also
that's
think
always a
that
hard one
I think another way to view this question is that instead of there are only two answers: do you kill or not kill Hitler, right?
Yeah.
Or I guess there's only two,
Yeah.
but I would choose to not kill Hitler, and instead I can stay there, right, and bring him up in a different way, right?
Yeah.
So not in a way where
Yeah.
he's going to become this demon child,
Okay.
right? But or demon man.
So you would kill him. You brought it up. So
Yes.
what if I changed it to there's a gun pointed at your head. You can't stop the gunman. Either you kill him or you get killed.
I kill him easily.
Yeah.
I'm worth more than he is, guaranteed.
What about you, Larry? So like in
You
this
see-
scenario, you can't save. So you only walk out with one person alive in the room.
You see, if I die, it might also save the world,
Yeah.
right? Because Hitler this kid will see that I have sacrificed my life for him, right?
Yeah.
And there is a chance that after the sacrifice,
Wait, but he's a baby though, so he
he's
won't
a
remember
baby.
this.
Yeah.
So like,
Wait, let's assume Hitler's not here. It's just a random thug.
yeah. So like, just a random person who just committed like 10 murders in like a day, in a week.
And it was either I die or he dies.
Yeah. So he dies or you die. So you don't know what happens after. So this is, I like this.
I think
It's an interesting question of like your morals and
I
ethics.
think it has to depend.
You just got to be
That's
really
thug.
egotistic and say, I'm worth more than most people.
Yifan's like, I'm the top 50%.
Top 50. Dude, I'm the top 10%. I'm the top 1%. I'm
We
the
live in
top
America.
0.1%.
I thought you were just saying I'm the top.
I'm the, yeah.
Top of the people, T.O.P.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But yeah.
I think it really depends on who this thug is.
Yeah,
and
that's
what
a-
I think of him, right?
Yeah.
If I think that,
Because like, so in this scenario, you know for sure, without it, like you have 100% proof that he killed 10 people.
yeah,
So you don't know the people. You don't know the people either. It's just from your perspective, 10 random people. So you
Yeah,
don't know
but
anything about them.
do I? So because it changes based on what I know
Yeah.
about this. Thug,
Yeah.
Right?
So
even if I didn't know anything about him
Yeah.
before I met him, like, and we're about to die, I think seeing him right before would definitely change my answer.
Okay.
Because of my own prejudice
Yeah.
or whatever. Like, do I think he's going to save the world?
Yeah. So in the theory, let's say that his head's bagged, you can't actually see any features of him.
So it's like,
So
this
it's,
is
so,
America.
so it's,
If
it,
he
yeah,
was in, like,
it's
a black
literally
box.
it's just a nameless person, but the only details is you know that he committed 10 murders.
I think I'll take my chances.
So you would kill him?
I would kill myself.
Okay, interesting.
Oh, all right. You see,
See,
I-
Larry's a good person.
I wouldn't. If you told me this guy was like a doctor and he saved 100
Yeah.
lives, but he's gonna kill me. All right, actually, you know what? Let's all right.
so-
If you
so-
told me this guy was just a random guy, let's ignore the part that all right, like he's not a doctor. All right, that makes it a harder question. Let's
Yeah.
keep this question easy. You know, he's just a random guy. He's like, you die or I die. Well, I'm worth more than he is.
Yeah, I don't know.
You just gotta be really egotistical.
Because I remember in like 7th grade history, the teacher was like, start of the year, he was like, okay, so you have these 3 people. So he listed like all of Hitler's good choices, or like all of his, like if you ignore all the killing,
Yeah.
like you know he became like the chancellor. He improved the German economy before the war,
Yeah.
and stuff. And then like he picked like Churchill and like Truman's, like all their bad stuff, like they were alcoholics and stuff. And he was
Yeah.
like, who would you elect? And like 90% of the class selected Hitler.
Well, I mean, when you
Yeah,
boil a person down to just
Yeah.
points,
yeah,
mhm.
yeah.
but
I mean, like, Hitler wanted Germany to be good, right? And like that was his thing. It's
Yeah.
just that the way he did it was not great.
yeah.
Yeah.
So if we tweak this scenario, so like what? Just wondering, like you know, I'm not trying to attack. I'm just wondering, like, if you're in that scenario, at what point, like, how far does someone have to go before like you're willing to, you know, kill them versus yourself? Because I'm genuinely curious. Because like,
Probably if they're just a psychopath.
okay,
What-
so,
So-
like they're beyond redemption.
Yeah, so psychopaths
Okay.
are people who have no moral
Yeah.
compass, right?
Okay.
They're broken in that way.
I'm assuming the Mexican mob's not listening. If it was El Chapo Guzman, would you kill him?
Yeah.
Wait, who is this guy?
He's one of the drug cartel leaders.
I might.
All right, just
Because, like, I feel like a lot of people are very desensitized,
Yeah.
right, to murder and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And if you're already desensitized to it,
Yeah.
then that's fine. You can die, I guess,
Okay.
because my death will have no meaning to you.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. Yeah.
So if my death has meaning,
Yeah.
has enough meaning.
So you want, like, you know, if you kill him, then it's just like it's over. But like if you were to die, you not only him but other people could get like
Mhm.
change of perspective.
It's sort of like, you know.
And I can tell them that Jesus
Yeah.
loves them.
Yeah.
Which one of those movies? What's the movie where everyone has to cut each other's heads off? There can be only one.
Is that
You
what the
know?
movie's called?
Highlander.
Oh, I don't.
All right.
I haven't seen a lot of movies.
In one of the Highlanders, one of the guys kills like King Darius and becomes a good, or maybe King. I forgot what it was. I haven't, yeah, whatever. Anyways, one of them kills a really good person and turns good
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
from absorbing his good essence.
What?
Anyways, it's this movie also has a part where this guy's sword is like Lego and he just clicks it together. So it's not
Ooh.
it's not really
What? Lego swords are great.
like his sword blade is in two pieces and he connects it together. So in real life, if you swung that, you just
It would break it.
made a catapult.
Yeah.
Yeah, anyways, it's not a realistic movie.
Thanks for letting us know.
Yeah.
That's interesting. So, any
Yeah.
other hypotheticals?
I mean, like if it were a person that was more important than
Yeah.
I'd let them kill me. But on the other hand, what constitutes that?
Yeah. So what if it's like someone with a good and bad? So like, say this guy's like, when he was 19, he was like a drunk driver. He's like that affluent kid, as a kid, where
Like,
he
grew up
killed.
to be like a doctor or
Yeah,
something.
he grew up to like be a doctor, but like he's murdered people. So like he got out of med school and he's already like done life-saving surgery for the same amount of people.
I'd probably let him kill me.
Okay.
I mean, I'm a software developer.
Yeah.
All I do is write crappy code. All I do
You're
is
like,
make,
I'm a realist.
yeah. It's like I make your server run a little bit better.
What about you, Larry? Would that be redeemable?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, people aren't unchanging
Yeah.
monoliths.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if it's like El Chapo Guzman, hey, the cartels aren't listening. All right.
Hopefully they don't come and shoot up the place.
Yeah. Hey, they don't know where we live.
Yeah.
Yeah, we live in Bucharest, Romania.
Yes, we do.
Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Yeah. Speaking of Bucharest, Romania,
Yeah.
I applied to a job in Bucharest, Romania.
So yeah, while Larry was sleeping, Yifan was like, "Hey, might as well apply to jobs." And I was like, "I'll just sit there."
Yeah, I was like applying to this company. They're like, "You want to be a software developer?" I'm like, "Yes." In Bucharest, Romania?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it was like, there are jobs here, and it's like, what jobs are in Chandler, Arizona? Accounting, janitor. And he was like, let's click the software engineering. 2 positions in Bucharest.
Nice. What website are you using?
Microchip.
Yeah, that company.
Oh.
So I guess all their software developers are in Bucharest.
Well, no, they're just good. Like, so IntelliJ is a company that makes really good Java-based IDEs, and I believe they're based in Bucharest,
Yeah.
Romania. But you're also telling me about the great man from your high school who moved over as a freshman and said, "I've done a lot of crime."
No, he was telling me how he would pirate music, and he's like, yeah, everyone just does it.
That's not a crime. I mean, it
Well,
is, but it's
like,
not like,
but he's like, yeah, the government doesn't care. We just commit crime. And then he's like, yeah, he steals stuff all the time. And I'm like, oof.
Wait.
And it's just funny because he was like, yeah, my dad's a fencing coach for ASU. I'm like, you fit the like Eastern European stereotype of like this Olympic disciplined dad who coaches.
and his son's like stealing vodka.
What?
I saw this Reddit thread about like Eastern European countries, and this guy's like, "Yeah, I saw 3 guys in Armani suits kicking another guy in another Armani suit." And that's all I got to say about that.
Oh no.
It's like battle royale, but for gangsters.
I see.
Armani suit battle royale. The winner keeps the suit.
Oh my goodness.
So, anything else? Anything else interesting you found?
No.
You still have Ligma?
Yeah, I still have Ligma. I've been sick for 3 weeks with Ligma.
Okay.
Not Ligma, but I've been sick for 3 weeks.
Not specifically Ligma.
Yeah.
Probably some virus. It's like
Yifan has been calling it Ligma.
I'm patient 0. My lungs are turning to mush.
Right.
Ligma sounds terrible.
Yeah.
Anything else, Larry?
I mean, no. That's all I got.
Wait. So, we skipped because you were up till 5 and you didn't spend the whole time talking about moral.
That's
good or
true.
bad. What else? You said like identity stuff.
Yeah. So, what are people's identities and what they
Because I think Yifan has sometimes said he identifies as an Apache helicopter.
That's just some weird meme.
I'm a white heterosexual male.
A cis male.
Yeah, you forgot cis.
Yeah, I'm not white.
There's nothing wrong with the sentence.
I just wanted to see how long you would go with it.
I'm an Asian heterosexual male.
I'm also an Asian heterosexual cis male. But
Yes.
the problem is that...
Technically, I'm a quarter white.
Okay.
So does that make me white?
Technically, I'm like a 16th or like a 64th Australian or something.
Technically, my family's records were destroyed in the Cultural Revolution. And I don't know anything.
Oh well. Anyways, so those are like our identities, right? Based off of our ethnic backgrounds and also our gender and our sexual orientation, right? But to me, those things aren't that important,
Same.
right? Like people always argue, like people become that identity becomes the most important thing to them, and they would argue for these things like really strongly because those things are what they value. But to me, those values aren't that important to me. It's more for me being a Christian. Okay, so the guy I'm talking to was also a Christian, so we discussed what are the Christian values, how does identity work in Christianity, and so for Christianity, what it should be. I know that in America, a lot of that is messed up. A lot of churches where Christianity has changed, where
Deviated in the wrong.
Joel Osteen.
yeah, where there's a lot of people like it changed where
Yeah.
Christianity. Parts of Christianity is not Christian
Yeah,
anymore.
it's more like the society put culture into the religion.
Yeah.
So
It's
So-
like what Gandhi said. He's like, I love your Christ, but you Christians are so unlike your Christ.
yeah.
Yeah. So the point of Christianity is to be sanctified, or the end goal, right, is to be sanctified, which means is to become holy, to become like Christ. But as humans, we can't get there on our own, so we need God to do it, and that comes in the form of Holy Spirit. And then we're fully sanctified when we die and go to heaven, and there's a new body created. Whatever, that's like theology stuff. But so in the form of identity, what does that mean for Christians? And that's that there is only two identities that matter. That if you're a Christian or if you're not Christian. Okay, very simple. Because if you're a Christian, if you're a true Christian, okay, you have saving faith, you'll be going to heaven to be with God forever. But if you're not Christian, there's plenty of things in the Bible that tell you where you're going.
You will be cast into the lake of fire, where you will be burning for eternity.
Yeah, there will be gnashing of teeth and whatnot,
Yeah,
right? You'll be
so-
thrown out. And that is not a fun place. And so, as a Christian, that's the only thing I should be caring about,
Okay.
whether the people around me are Christian or not.
Interesting.
Right.
So, because you were saying like the whole like an identity is Asian, because that's like, because that identity is more like that's your on the surface level stuff, and like the Christian is like your
True self.
yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
Like if you were if like like no one saw you, but like they talk to you like on the internet, like all they would know is like who you are on the inside. So I guess that's what
Like
the
they would
identity
know, they would probably know that like this Christian dude,
Yeah,
he likes
yeah.
to play video games.
Yeah, but it's like all that stuff
Yeah.
that's beyond the surface level of like
Yeah.
what you first see. So I guess like a lot of people they get stuck on like this is who
Yeah.
I am, so it's like on the surface level and they don't dig deeper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I thought you were talking about like just like the outside stuff. Because like something I wondered is like because we're all Asian,
Yeah.
but like I feel like because I talked to a bunch of them and that like that's like their main concern is because like some of them they grew up and they were like discriminated against or like
Yeah.
they were teased or something. But I'm a part of that group that was just like I grew up in a nice neighborhood we weren't. It wasn't like everyone was rich, but it was like no one was mean to each other.
Yeah.
So I hear people that like when they talk about that, that's their identity. It's because it stems from like they had something when they were early on that like someone bullied them or something.
Yeah.
So they hold that dear. That's like this is something that's important to me.
Yeah.
So
I
I was
mean,
wondering like just on that dimension, like is it so like you don't like I guess you don't put a lot of importance in just being Asian, but is there like is it because like when you were growing up or anything like that you didn't have any like any teasing or anything, or you just that just doesn't
So
concern you?
I was teased a little bit when I was in elementary school.
Yeah.
There were some mean kids, but like I guess like even like in a little bit in high school I was teased. But I went to a school with tons of Mormons. I lived in Gilbert.
Okay. Yeah.
So it wasn't like after I got to high school, like it lessened up a lot. But besides that, like I feel like Asian culture, right? So the term is like Asian American. That's what we are, or that's what I identify as. Where we look Asian, we have like an Asian. We have like parts of Asian culture ingrained in us, but we also have but we also have American values.
Yeah.
Right? There are American values that we enjoy and that we accept, such as like freedom and whatnot. Mm-hmm. And being stuck in that weird place, a lot of Asian Americans they feel like they don't belong, and I understand that. That makes sense. Like you don't understand who you are because you look different from everyone else, and you act different from everyone else, and that's like a culture thing, right? Where you don't feel like you belong, and everyone wants to have a sense of belonging, right? Which is why like that movie Crazy Rich Asians, like a lot of people cried there in that movie. It's a rom-com. You don't cry there in rom-coms. That's weird. Okay, except for that Taiwanese one. Okay, but a lot of people cried not because like it was like such a beautiful movie, but because they now find that there's a group of people who are just like me, who understand who I am, where I'm coming from, right? And that's why they cried, because they finally understood that, or they finally found this community to be part of. But on the flip side, for me, even that's like a little bit important to me, like who I am, like culturally.
Yeah.
The thing, like, it's definitely easier for me to connect with like Asians or Asian Americans, much easier than like a white person or like black person or whatever other person. But the thing with Christianity is that there's always a base, right? That you're all connected on, that we're all children of God. We have all been adopted by God.
You know, when you're talking about people crying in Crazy Rich Asians, that reminded me of in the original Naruto, there's this guy called Zabuza with a big sword, and like Ladyboy who's really hot follows him around, right?
Oh, Haku.
Yeah, and it's like, and then like Naruto's like,
I was so confused when I learned he was a guy. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, and then Naruto's like, why do you hang out with Zabuza when he's such a jerk? And then Haku's like, it's better to be alone. It's like better to be with someone that's like a jerk than to be alone. You know.
So how does that relate?
It doesn't.
It does. So Zabuza is Haku's only hope and only family, basically. Yeah. And to Haku, Zabuza's family, Ohana. Sorry.
Ohana means family.
Yeah. And
family means exemption from taxes.
But since Zabuza is Haku's only family, Haku just stuck with him because there was no alternative for him. And I think it touches into like why do people stick with like abusive relationships and whatnot? Because it's better. That is better than being alone.
Yeah.
Interesting. I was gonna ask Yifan if you got bullied because you're like.
No. So I grew up in like, I went to school in like these like, I don't remember Japan that much, but when I moved to the U.S., I lived in Seattle, and I got bullied. But on the other hand, it wasn't really because I was Asian. It's just everyone there was like, everyone at that school had a massive like, well, they're just bad people, right? Everyone at that school is just a bad person to each other. That's all I gotta say about Seattle. Sorry if you live in Seattle.
This continues Yifan's hatred of Seattle.
Yeah, and then I went back to Seattle over the summer, and it was like the most ghetto place I ever lived in. So yeah,
We talked about that a few episodes before. Last time Yifan was here.
Yeah. So I guess every time he comes on, he's gonna hate on Seattle.
yeah, if I can.
If I can.
If you can find the opportunity to.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, what do you like? What's the most important identity thing for you, though?
That's weird. Yeah. I don't know. I guess being, well, cause like, it is surface level, cause it's like you look Asian, but it's like, it's all, cause it's like you grow up, you know, our parents were all Asian, so like we grew up, like for the first 5 years, that's all we knew is that like their culture.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like we're a mix. So I guess like Asian American is important because it's like that's just who, like a quick summary of who we are, because it's like, you know,
Like once
yeah.
you talk to someone, you're like Asian
Yeah.
American, like
Yeah.
they now know
Yeah.
certain, like a general
Yeah.
like view of like what your values
Yeah.
are and what you like.
well, not more kind of with values, but it's just more like, you know, that's your, because it is a weird thing because like we're Asian American is like we're multicultural in the sense that we have our parents' culture, but also the culture we live in
Mhm.
America, and even like because I'm like mixed. My dad doesn't didn't actively teach me Chinese or Cambodian, but he taught
Mhm.
my sisters,
Oh.
and like he has those Confucius values, so
Okay.
it's like it's kind of like mixing of. So I guess like for me like that identity is important, or I guess like some like first important because it's like that's what I come from. Because I
Okay.
was raised here, but like my parents are, and like a lot of my family friends are like Vietnamese and Asian,
Yeah.
so it's like that's my life, like, you know, living
Yeah.
in America but surrounded by Asian people.
Mhm.
So yeah, it's an interesting bunch of discussions we had today.
Yeah, I think another like thing about like identity is that now in America you're seeing being a victim is like kind of like an identity now. It's kind of weird
Yeah.
where if your life was perfect and you weren't a victim of anything, you're now kind of left out, right?
Yeah, there's people that are like, you know, they have nothing wrong, so they're a victim of society in that way, where they're like not included in the group.
Yeah, so now people are starting to feel ostracized
Yeah.
and outcast and they don't belong because
Yeah.
they're not victim. That's
But-
stupid. But
you know, people can change their identities really easily, just like how Bowser can change into a girl. You can end the
Yes.
podcast now.
Thanks
Exactly.
for watching.